Hello everyone, this is Zach Ledbetter. We are welcoming you to our first dental marketing webinar. Presenting today I have Newell Ledbetter with Newell Ledbetter Advertising Incorporated, Art Ruiz with Reach Local, and Michael Paxton with Q2 Interactive Media. We are going to discuss the overall effective plan for marketing your dental practice. We'll be getting started with Newell Ledbetter here in a moment, but first I want to let you know that there is a chat window on the right side of your screen. Please enter your questions and comments into that box and we will try to address your questions as we go through the presentation. If we are not able to address your specific question, we will definitely contact you individually with that information. This can also be used if you're having any technical difficulties. We'll be able to help you correct that issue. Let's get started here with Newell Ledbetter. A brief bio of Newell Ledbetter, founder, owner, and president of Newell Ledbetter Advertising Incorporated. He began his advertising agency in 1996 after 18 years in television, radio, and cable advertising sales. Since then, Newell has built a successful agency that services over 70 clients both locally and nationally. Newell holds a BFA in broadcasting and film and works tirelessly to ensure our clients' success. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Newell, and he will discuss the beginning funnel of awareness.
Thanks, Zach. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone to our first in a series of webinars to help you increase your new patient counts. One of the things we're going to discuss here is the significance of a sales funnel, and primarily because this sales funnel has changed over the years due to what has happened as far as media is concerned. We are primarily, as far as my company is concerned, concerned with the awareness part of this sales funnel. We can help with the research and decision side of it. We've got other gentlemen that we're going to talk with here a little bit later in the webinar that are really focusing as far as research and decision. So we're primarily going to be looking at awareness. And awareness is something that happens outside of the practice. It's something that draws people to your practice. And that has to be done through basically radio, billboards, newspaper, television, direct mail, referrals, any type of situation that involves spreading your name outside of your practice. The significance of this sales funnel is that years ago when I first got involved with advertising, the awareness cycle was pretty much the largest part of the entire cycle, or the most important part of the cycle, because we would do promotions back in the early 70s that basically it was almost a one-to-one type of response ratio. We would run television commercials and we would have clients receive 4 or 5 telephone calls right after that first commercial would run. And that type of awareness and that type of results continued up until about the last 5 or 6 years. And then things started to change. There had to be a better way of basically reaching the consumer because things were changing as far as how they were dealing as far as their buying habits are concerned. One of the things they were doing, instead of going directly to our clients through the awareness situation, they were going directly to the internet, or directly to a friend. And then it takes a little bit longer as far as the buying cycle is concerned. Our goal is basically building that awareness and how we need to build awareness. There are various ways that we can do things as far as building awareness for your practice and choosing the right awareness campaign and utilizing the right media. First of all, we want to take a look at what we need to do as far as filling up that awareness part of the buying cycle. We're going to take a look at as far as the media rankings, and this information was basically given by TVB, a media comparison study in 2010, and TVB is a television advertising bureau. And what they did is they did research on finding out what medium reaches more females. We also have the same information as far as males are concerned, but we're primarily interested in females because we know females make about 85% of all decisions as far as dental and health mental or medical health decisions for their family, maybe mental health decisions too. Anyway, if we take a look at this, we're looking at females 18 plus, and we're going to narrow that down into more of the demographic that we're really going for as far as the dental practices are concerned, which are females 35 to 64. But as far as the percent of females 18 plus reached yesterday with television, 88.2% of those ladies were reached with television yesterday. You take a look at newspaper, you're looking at 35%, radio a little over 58%, magazines around 33%, and you're looking at internet 68%, and mobile is around 13%, a little over 13% right now as far as the percent of females reached in one day. So as you can see, these are the top three mediums that we like to work with, and that's changed over the years. The television and the radio and the internet. Now let's break it down as far as age groups are concerned, because our age group 18 plus, that's like the entire universe. So let's go down to what our actual target demographic is, and that is females age 35 to 64. Well, how does television reach those ladies? Basically, television on a daily basis will reach 93% of the ladies 35 to 64. Newspaper reaches about 40%. Radio reaches a little over 62%. Magazines 36%. Internet 68%. And again, mobile 11.7%. So you can see, once again, we have three mediums that are very important as far as we're concerned, as far as increasing our clients' new patient counts. Major media. Well, who are these people that the media are reaching? What is their income? Well, if you take a look at the household income of 50K to 75K, television reaches almost 93% of those particular households. Radio is 58%, and internet is 66%. Well, let's go into the $75,000 plus and the $100,000 plus category as far as household income. You can take a look at television. It drops down just a little bit because maybe those guys are out working a little bit more, but you're taking a look at those females. You're still reaching 85.5% of those ladies with television and 84% in the 100K plus area. Radio, you're looking at almost 65%, or actually 65% in both of those categories. And the internet, you're over 80% in both of those categories. So once again, we've got three areas that we really want to concentrate on as far as being able to get those new patient counts up. How many times or how long do females spend with television each day more than any other medium? This is on a minute per basis. Females 18 plus will spend over 300 minutes a day. That's over 5 hours a day with television. Newspaper, you're looking at 24 minutes. Radio, an hour and a half. Magazine, 17 minutes. Internet, a little over an hour. And mobile, 19 minutes. So you can see, once again, we have three mediums that are very, very powerful as far as reaching females and as far as being able to increase our new patient flows. Let's take a look at the females and the time they spent yesterday in minutes with major media. Again, let's drop that down to our major demographic, which are females 35 to 64. You can see with television, again, they spent over 5 hours average on a daily basis. Radio, a little over an hour and a half. And then you look at the internet, almost 2 hours, a little over 2 hours as far as the amount of time they spent. So once again, we're looking at an area where we've got three mediums that are very powerful as far as reaching the particular demographics that we want to attract to our practices. If we take a look at the incomes that are involved with this as well, major media, household incomes, you can see the amount of time that the television set is on and people are watching it, okay? And the $50,000 to $75,000 category as far as household income, you're looking at about almost 5 hours a day, not quite, 4.5 hours a day as far as watching the television set. You're looking at a little over an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half a day with the radio, and about 2 hours with the internet. And you can see what the differences are when you take a look as far as the different categories as far as household income. Once again, when we take a look at the the amount of time that people are spending with the mediums that we need to use as far as reaching the particular clientele and increasing our new patient flow, once again, it's television, radio, and the internet. Now, let's take a look at a current marketing plan in relationship to awareness. Just awareness and interest. That's all we're going to concentrate on right now. So we're going to take a look at, and we're going to rank our media, what's going on with our individual media plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to rank TV with 10 points, and you can see how we're ranking that all the way down. Radios with 7 points. This is all done with the amount of time that people are spending with that particular medium. You've got cable, 5 points. We basically have 5 points with cable instead of 10 like they do with TV, primarily because cable reaches about half of the audience that we need to reach. Direct mail is 1 point. And the reason direct mail is that way, years ago when we started doing direct mail, this is back in the early 70s, and it actually went into about the mid 80s, we were seeing anywhere from a 2 to a 5% return on direct mail. Well, with the number of direct mail pieces that we're seeing nowadays that coming through the mail, that return rate is going anywhere from a 0.1 to a 0.3%. So it's reduced quite drastically from what it was years ago. And the way you can actually see this is just take all the direct mail pieces that you receive at your home on a monthly basis and just put them in a box. And I can probably guarantee you that you're probably going to have about 1.5 foot, maybe 2 foot, or 2 feet rather, of direct mail pieces to deal with. So direct mail, we only give that 1 point. Newspaper, we give it 4 points, again, with the amount of time that people spend with it. The internet and website, we're up at 8 points. Again, the amount of time that they spend with the internet. And mobile, we only give 1 point. Well, if we add up what we have going on with a particular client or your particular advertising budget, if you add all the things you're doing up, and you're over 18, your awareness factor, we're just talking about your awareness factor now, is good. Between 12 and 17, it's fair. Below 12, it's pretty poor. And when you go into 5, we figure we might as well go fishing at that particular time if we're looking just at the awareness part of the buying cycle. And that is that's what we really, really need to fill up, is that where that awareness part of the buying cycle really is. After we take a look at where we actually are putting our money, where we're actually buying, as far as media is concerned, there are stipulations that are based on, the previous ranking guide. Because if we don't have the right accurate message, the interest is not going to be brought up. You're not going to have that awareness. If we're not going after the right demographics, you're not going to be able to get the new patient flow that you actually need. And you have to be careful with those demographics, because a lot of us guys, we like to buy ESPN. We like to buy those football programs. We like to buy the baseball programs. That's what we like to do, but that's not where the ladies are. So we have to be careful as far as those right demographics. Us guys, we like to listen to news talk radio. There are not very many ladies that care for news talk radio. So we have to be careful with those right demographic mixes. And the correct media mix. Again, we want to get up to that 18 plus and over in order to reach as many people as possible, as many times as possible, with the least amount of money as possible. We've got to be aware of our marketing limitations as well in particular areas. In some areas you can't buy television. Because it's just expensive. That's just the bottom line on it. It's just expensive. Example: Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Dallas. Any of these larger markets, many times you're not be able to buy over-the-air television because of the cost that's involved with it, and that doesn't make a lot of sense when you only have one particular location in a town. In smaller markets, we can do that. Well, when we have those marketing limitations, we have to take a look at cable and radio together. One of the things that we are trying to do, or in the process of putting together, is a team concept, a strategy. A strategy as far as being able to get your awareness factors going, get the research going, and the decision going. And again, reach as many people as possible on the awareness side, as many times as possible, with the least amount of money as possible. There are a couple of quotes that we've run across here lately that I've seen quite a few times over my career. One was by Henry Ford. A pretty interesting quote: "A man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops a clock to save time." I thought that was a pretty good quote when it comes into taking a look at awareness and getting as much bang for the buck as you possibly can. And the next quote was given to me about 25 years ago by an advertising salesperson I was working with when I was selling advertising for the ABC affiliate in Colorado Springs. And he gave this to me. He said, "Running a business without advertising is the same thing as winking at someone in the dark. You know what you're doing, but they don't." And that is just so true. From this point on, what we want to do is basically go a little bit further into our webinar with basically taking care of the research part and the decision part. You know, I've been real fortunate over the years to run into particular people that really have excelled in particular industries. When the internet started coming around and things started happening with it, one of the things that I did is I told our media buyer, Steve Gentile, to interview all of the internet people that made phone calls to our office, because we wanted to find out who knew what they were doing. And we probably interviewed somewhere between 60 and 70 different internet salespeople. And I ran across the gentleman, Art Ruiz, and he works with Reach Local. This guy knows his stuff. You know, the thing about Reach Local, it's a pay-per-click type of marketing program on the internet, and that they have a methodology that actually really works. Art and I have been working together over the last couple of years. The thing about Art is he's kind of like I am. He can work anywhere in the United States because Reach Local is Google's only global premier SMB partner. It's got 63 offices worldwide. They've done 18,000 campaigns for dentists. They've received over 400,000 calls delivered for dentists, with 2 million web events for dentists. I have a client that we started using Reach Local here about 4 years ago, and the results that we saw off of that particular part of the buying cycle, the research and into the decision-making part, was phenomenal. So I'm going to turn the rest of this particular part of the webinar, as far as research, over to Art. Art, it's all yours.
So what Newell was just talking about was the awareness component of the sales cycle. So what we're going to be focusing on next are the research and decision-making processes. Now, what's interesting to understand is there is so much content, so much information, so much fragmentation online. I just wanted to put it in perspective for you. And I call this slide Ready, Set, Go. This occurs every 60 seconds of every day. 600 plus new YouTube videos are uploaded in 60 seconds. That equates to over 25 plus hours of viewing content on YouTube. 1,500 new blog posts are done. 695,000 search queries were just entered into Google in the last minute. And what's interesting about that, I read an article from a gentleman by the name of Rand Fishkin from SEOmoz.com. He had a conversation with Matt Cutts from Google, and it's estimated that up to 20% of all search queries that occur on a single day are brand new and have never been searched for. So think about that. In this day and age where content is king, when we are just bombarded with these messages that are sometimes not relevant to us, 20% of those messages online, 20% of those searches are brand new and have never been looked for. Very, very powerful, right? 79,000 new wall posts just happened on Google. 13,000 iPhone apps were just downloaded. Now, think about how overwhelming that is for you and for me. Think about the consumer. How do they find your message online? And that's why today we're going to talk about a strategy approach. We're not talking about a product approach. We're not talking about this product plus that product plus that product plus that product equals this. No. We're talking about how integrating a complete online strategy, doing it right, engaging all different levels of the buying cycle is going to help you win online. That's what we're talking about today. So now what we're going to talk about next is the patient buying cycle and understanding how that plays in with the overall online strategy that we've been talking about. So if Susie gives Barbara Dr. Smith's name, what did Barbara used to do with that information? She used to go to her dental provider book, open it up, look for Dr. Smith, say, yep, Dr. Smith is part of my group. Great, I'm going to go see him. Done deal. What's interesting is that dynamic has changed. And if we start to think about it and take ourselves out of the dental world and think about our own applications and uses online, how many times have we done this online? Or our spouse? So now, if Susie gives Barbara a name for Dr. Smith, what is she going to do with that information? Probably before Barbara got that name, she went online, went to her peer group and said, I'm looking for a new dentist. Any ideas? And without hesitation, her close friends, family, coworkers, everyone within her social circle may say, I have one. Try Dr. So-and-so. Try Dr. So-and-so. So now Barbara has a couple of different names, including Dr. Smith. So now what she does, she goes online and does a check, does a review. She looks up Dr. Smith's websites. She looks up some of the other websites for the other providers and starts to make some assumptions based on what she sees. Remember, we're all still visual. That's why TV is still so powerful. We're visual people. So if she lays eyes on this website and she's looking at this and says, this website looks like it's 50 years old. This website really doesn't have a lot of information. Let me see what dentist B and C look like. So they're making those judgments without ever talking to your practice, without ever meeting you. So did you miss out on that opportunity? In most cases, the answer is yes. So that's why understanding how people are now communicating, gathering information, making decisions online, especially as it relates to their dental work. That's how we need to capture these folks when they are ready to engage. That's why understanding this online strategy component is so important. So what we're going to talk about today are these three pieces: SEO, SMM, and SEM. SEO is search engine optimization. Most people know that term because it's been around the longest. Social media marketing is a second component. Relatively new, right? Search engine marketing has been around for a while, and really that deals with the search engines, banner ads, etc. But we're talking about an online strategy. And it wasn't too many years ago where people would say, well, I just want to do SEO because I just want to, get the organic traffic. And then it wasn't too long ago we heard people say, well, I just want to do search engine marketing because I just want to focus on that. Now we have folks, as crazy as this is, saying, I have a Facebook page. I'm good. I have a single Facebook page. I post once a year. That is it. I have my social media strategy done. Well, not exactly. It's about how all three of these integrate together. How they are leveraging your brand, your reputation, and how they are converting online. And Mike Paxton is going to be talking about that next component next. How do we convert people once we get them there? Well, think about this. This online strategy has three simple components, right? Well, they're not real simple when we start to take them apart, but what we're going to talk about is how each one plays in. Creating the right online media strategy. Again, there's that word, strategy. Search engine marketing is very simple. It's basically the top part here on the search engines and the right-hand side. That typically represents about 30 to 35% of all searches that are done online. SEO, or the organic piece down here, what Mike's going to be talking about later, represents about 65 to 70% of all online traffic. So when we talk about search engine marketing, putting a strategy together, which search engine do you want to be on? Google, Yahoo, or Bing? Well, what did we just talk about? We talked about a strategy. You need to be on all three because, believe it or not, even though Google represents most of the traffic online, Google and Yahoo are an untapped gold mine. Getting in front of those people, even though it may only represent up to 40% of all searches, that's still 40% that your competitors are not looking at, right? Let's talk about display advertising. Display advertising and remarketing has come a long way. So not only can we target your core demographic, but we also can use different strategies. One of the things we like to do with a lot of Newell's clients is once we get them to a website, whether they choose to engage or not, we have the ability to remarket to them. So what that means is if someone goes to Dr. Smith's site, they're looking around and they're there for a couple minutes and then they decide to leave and come back later. Well, we now have the ability and the technology to say, we're going to make sure that that person sees Dr. Smith's brand over and over again. It's almost like a TV commercial following that consumer everywhere they go online. So if they go to ESPN to check on the Super Bowl, right? Well, they may see your Dr. Smith's ad on ESPN. What if they're going to look up some local news at the local ABC station? Well, guess what? They're going to see Dr. Smith's banner ad there. And that's part of that strategy, and part of getting them back down the buying funnel is engaging them any way that we can to re-engage with the brand. It also helps to build that top-of-mind awareness. Very, very important. Let's talk about video and social. Now, what's interesting is we're going to talk about YouTube in just a little bit and how powerful YouTube is. 25% of all of Google's online searches are from YouTube. So what does that mean? That means that 1 out of 4 times someone goes online, they're looking for video related content. So is it a good idea to take your TV commercials and create a YouTube channel and post those on there? Absolutely. Is it an even better idea to have those TV commercials that Newell has produced for you and put them on your website? Absolutely, because now people are looking for video content regularly as well as social. Part of the online strategy piece is brand management. Controlling your brand, controlling what messaging about you and your practice is found online. So with the whole social component, and we're going to talk about how to leverage those social entities to cultivate a good referral base, but part of that is taking up space on the web page. So if someone types in Dr. Smith's name, wouldn't it be a good idea to take care of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces of the first page of Google? Remember, there's only one page of Google, one first page. 80 to 85% of all transactions, all views, all decisions are made on that first page. If you're not on the first page, don't bother, right? So with the video and social components of the online strategy, we're trying to capture as much of that first page as possible. Video and social are tremendous ways to do that. The next part we're going to talk about is the SMM, the social media marketing component of the strategy. I made the comment earlier that Facebook alone is not a strategy. And I'll say it again. Facebook without a strategy is not very useful at all. It's like having Newell create you a TV commercial and you put it in your lobby. Well, you are going to get it seen. Is it going to be as powerful as if you had that TV commercial on the networks or on cable? Of course it's not, because it's sitting in your lobby. Same thing with having a Facebook page. Awesome, I have a Facebook page. Well, if you're not doing anything with it, if you're not posting, if you're not creating an engagement-based strategy, what good is it doing for you? So that's where I chuckle when I hear a lot of folks talk about, well, I have a Facebook page, I'm good. I got my social media strategy done. Really? I don't think so. So think about this. Facebook right now has 850 million users worldwide. 50% of those folks log in. That means 1 out of every 2 people that walk into your practice are on Facebook every single day. So now, let me ask you this. How many of your patients have engaged with you on Facebook? Think of the hundreds, or in some cases, thousands of people that could be on Facebook singing your praises. Because also, think about this. Facebook is the most powerful part of your social strategy when done right. But it's also permission-based marketing on steroids. Because think about this. How else can you effectively and affordably get in front of your consumers once a week or twice a week and say hi to them, essentially? Create content that's useful. Create a way for people to engage with you and to spread your message to their friends and family. Facebook, as popular as it is so underutilized within the dental community as far as a strategy. So part of having this idea of a team working behind you becomes that much more important, because again, creating that brand awareness with the awareness that Newell was talking about, having that brand match your web presence is so important. So let's talk about the next component, Twitter. With Twitter, there's 250 million tweets that occur a day, 105 million Twitter accounts. What's interesting about Twitter, let's look at the demographic makeup. 24% of all Twitter usage occurs between the ages of 35 and 49. Does that sound like your core demographic? Between the ages of 35 and 49, one out of four users are your core demographic. What Twitter is very useful for is creating quick messaging with 140 characters, basically getting quick content out there, building your online relevance. And again, it's just another way to engage with your clients. Not everyone is a Twitter fan, but you know what? If you're taking the time to create an online strategy, Twitter needs to be part of that with Facebook. YouTube. A couple things about YouTube that most people don't know. One, YouTube is owned by Google. Who's Google? Right? The 700-pound gorilla in the room. YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in the world. It's a third most viewed website on a daily basis. So you might say, well, YouTube really isn't a search engine. Well, a search engine really is defined as an engine that helps you find what you're looking for. It's no different with video. Video has become one of the fastest growing parts of the online market. It's amazing, because think about this. 3 billion videos are viewed every single day just on YouTube. YouTube makes up 25% of all of Google's traffic on any given day. So it's interesting, and what kind of drives me nuts is you have these videos on your website, and they're hosted on your website. Well, what can't Google do? They can't provide you another platform to view those videos. Creating your own YouTube channel and incorporating that into your online presence and web strategy is so important. If you have videos that Newell has made for you, that you are currently playing on television, why not post them on your YouTube channel? Why not use that as part of your content development and network for Facebook and Twitter? YouTube and videos are so powerful. What's interesting is this. The average person will sit and watch many videos, up to 6 or 7 videos at a time if they are under 2 minutes in length. If you have a video that is 10 or 15 or 20 minutes in length, you're not going to get much viewing because people don't want to see that. So creating these short, informative, very defined videos are important, and they can be done very easily. Reviews. A lot of folks get hung up on reviews, and they should, because 86% of all consumers believe what they see and read online. So if on your practice page for Google you have 5 reviews and one of them is incorrect, which one of those do you think the consumer is most likely to focus on? The negative review, or the review that is least favorable to your practice. So is it not a good idea to cultivate and develop the reviews on your practice page on Google? Absolutely. Other sites like Yelp and Dr. Oogle and some of these other tools online are very important. However, people will still rely on Google most often to review what people are saying about your practice. That goes back to the strategy component again. If you're actively engaging your clientele on a daily basis to interact with you, even in the office, if you just said 1 out of 2 times, hey Barbara, next time you're on Facebook, why don't you like our page? We just got that going. Is Barbara more likely to engage with it? Absolutely. Is she more likely to post it on her page that she just engaged with her dentist? Absolutely. Is that not creating word of mouth advertising? Absolutely. But eventually that will start to translate into the Google reviews. So one of the things that you need to make sure of from a practice perspective is make sure that your brand your messaging is consistent everywhere online, and that includes and especially includes the reviews on Google. So next, who we have up is Q2 Interactive Media. Founder is Michael Paxton. I've had the pleasure of working with Mike for the last 3.5 years. He has done an amazing job for my clients. He is inbound marketing certified by some of the top SEO companies in the nation. He's the architect and founder and developer of over 250 websites nationwide. And he also consults and develops for national franchises such as Smartbox, Gutter Helmet, and Ace Hardware. So Mike, without further ado, there you go.
Thanks, Art. Well, you know what? I want to start taking everyone into kind of the section that talks about the research and decision phase from the website level. We like to talk about the law of attraction. The law of attraction basically states that if you position yourself where searches are being performed, then you're going to draw in the people that are looking for your product or service at that time, hence inbound marketing. So what we're going to talk about here is knowing the difference between branded and non-branded key phrases, and also the user behavior on search engine results page, which are also called SERPs. Branded versus non-branded. This is a very common mistake, or where wool gets pulled over clients' eyes as it pertains to SEO. Branded means they're searching for you by name versus non-branded, which is they're searching for you by a certain type of procedure or treatment option. So what you'll notice is that if we look at a Google page here, what you'll notice is that if we search for Dr. Betty Jo Shope, we'll notice that her name pops up all over the place. So this is pretty good web presence if they know who you are. But if they don't know who you are, and they just search for a dentist in Colorado Springs, notice how Dr. Shope's not showing up anywhere on this front page. So this is a non-branded key phrase, and this is a branded key phrase. Now here's something a little bit different. If you look at this non-branded key phrase, this is sedation dentist in Shelton. And you look down here, right at the very top, top section above the fold, we have mysheltondentist.com. When you click on that, it'll go straight to the website. Shows a good call to action, and we'll talk more about what the different elements are that are required on a website. But you'll notice how that came through on a non-branded key phrase. Now, if we also look for Dr. Busaka by name, you'll notice that his website comes up first. But then there's also a whole bunch of other things that come up, including Facebook and other social areas. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea between branded and non-branded. What you really want to be focused on is the non-branded effort as it pertains to SEO. The branded is going to come all by itself. So let's talk about a search engine results page. You really want to position yourself to capture the 70-30 split, and I'll talk more about what that is here in just a second. And maximize key phrases for SEM. That's your search engine marketing piece. So you want to really utilize as many key phrases as you can for search engine marketing, which is what Reach Local does, in order to have a consistent flow of data. And that data is going to tell us which keywords are actually making your phone ring and sending you leads to the website. What we're going to do then with that information is we're going to actually optimize the site for those top performing key phrases. About every 90 days we'll want to reevaluate that and rinse and repeat. So let's take a look at a Google search page here. And what you'll notice is are kind of some different areas. This is your organic area, which is SEO. This is your paid area here, which is SEM, search engine marketing. About 30% of the clicks appear in this grayed out region, and 70% of the clicks are going to happen in this black region. Well, that's why it's important to have both, because you can market for several key phrases, hundreds, within these regions and get those traffic coming through. Here in the organic area, you can really only organically rank for SEO 2 key phrases per page. So if you have a 10-page website, we could probably get you to rank up for about 20 key phrases, where search engine marketing has a much larger capacity. So you can see why that's important. Well, what is SEO? I want to talk to you a little bit about that. There's no magic bullet to this. There's no secret sauce, and there are no special tools. You probably will hear this from other SEOs that try to contact you regarding this, that they have some sort of secret something that makes this work. And that's just not the case. Don't accept any promises or guarantees. There aren't any in the SEO world. Every website is subject to the approval of the search engines and their relevancy. And so it's very important that you understand that there cannot be any promises or guarantees. And any company that does that is really violating some ethics. What we'll do is we'll take a look here at Google, because Google actually talks about it right on their website about search engine optimization. They define it for us so we understand what it is, but they also give us some warnings as you read down through here. And it tells you, Google says, be wary of SEO firms and consultants or agencies that just send you stuff out of the blue. You guys probably get these spams all the time. You just want to disregard and throw those away. No one can guarantee a #1 ranking on Google. Google tells you that they can't. They might allege a special relationship or priority submission or anything of that nature, but Google clearly states here that that is not the case. Be careful if a company is secretive or won't clearly explain what they intend to do. It's important to know exactly what's happening with your SEO throughout the entire process and have tracking. There are some other things that are on here as well. Don't have a link to SEOs. There's some poor techniques and things that you can encounter when going through what's called a black hat SEO, or someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Google also gives us a search engine optimization starter guide, which goes through about 32 pages of all the things you need to do to your website in order to appropriately get it to rank, best practices. And so it talks about all of these things. And so there really isn't any secret to it. You just have to have a good, effective keyword strategy that's focused around trying to accomplish getting people at the bottom of the buying funnel. Generally, it takes about 6 to 12 months for rankings to start to appear on the front page of Google search engines. And so what I want to show you here is just a couple quick charts. The first one we're going to look at is the components of the ranking algorithm. So how do we actually get you to show up? And the percentages here you can see are all based on different areas. The majority of the work is actually not done on your website at all. It's based off of your domain name and the trust and authority of that domain name. By the number of links that go back to your website specific to the search phrases that we're looking for. The type of text that other pages are using to link to you is critical. When we look at the on-page elements, there's a lot of elements such as the keyword usage. As you can see, that's a huge portion of that. The registration information about your hosting, the type of traffic that you get. But then you also see this portion of social, and we know this is going to get much larger over time, but it is part of it now, and so we want to be paying attention to that. And so you see here, that's why with SEO, there is a huge focus to make sure that we have our lapovers appropriately positioned in a good strategy amidst all of the partners in your marketing plan in order to make this work properly. Also kind of give you an idea of how the timeline works on something like this. And so at the very beginning of all of this, your initial search results are going to be pretty minimal because there is no authority for you yet. A lot of the work is just getting started, and we're just now getting the campaign activated. And so over time what will happen is that it's not going to cost you as much in order to organically rank for those key phrases, because over time you will start to rank for them, and then you can just maintenance that. But it does take time, generally, like we say, 6 to 12 months to start seeing good organic performance. Whereas with your search engine marketing, it's pretty much a straight line effect. As soon as you start paying for it, you start receiving traffic. And so it's always good to have that mix of both. And then again, we optimize based on what kind of keywords we find here and go back into the website and optimize. So now that you kind of know how to get traffic, is your website really ready? Common issues that most of the practices face is that it's disconnected from the practice culture. All too often the websites are very archaic, stale, outdated, have really lacked strategy and results, and therefore has that disconnect. And so we want to make sure that we bring that together. Some of the best practices that you can go through with web development is a brand-centric design. When we look at templates and cookie-cutter things that are out there, website builders, none of them are really designed to match your practice exactly as it needs to. And it's important to have a brand-centric design. Consumers can tell the difference between a cheap website and a well-built one. The location of information on a website is critical, such as the services you offer, locations, phone numbers, things like that. And the layout has to be intuitive. We want to focus on what the general behavioral actions are of a client before actually putting the site together. And so we'll take a look at a couple different websites here so you can see examples. So what you notice here is a before cookie cutter template, kind of had some coloring in there. They chose them from the styles and just threw some content in here. Very unattractive, unappealing, and non-engaging. When we were hired to rebuild this site, we of course took into consideration different elements. And so here there was navigation all over the place. And what we did is we cleaned up all that navigation to where we had simple navigation here and here. We also added the phone number, nice, large, and big in the upper right-hand corner. Makes a huge difference. There's a form to fill out, and it's a fun form. It's not just a clunky, junky, basic submit form. It's actually fun to fill out. And there's a call to action. And in this particular situation, their website actually rotates through different types of things you might deal with, such as skin allergies or peanut allergies, and in your case, could be sedation dentistry, dental implants, extractions, things of that nature. Then we also want to make sure that we have that optimized text down and below. Although the consumers may not read everything that's listed here, they are going to hit the bullet points. But Google likes to see all of that text because Google really can't understand what's going on with these pictures. It can breeze over them, but it really rather would have the text. Another example, and you'll notice here that really not much has changed between the two sites. Different company, of course, offering a different service, but we still have a call to action, navigation, phone number, form, optimized text, easy to go through. So you can see archaic, old, clunky, stale, outdated, brand-centric design. Much better for conversion. So the basic conversion theory is this, guys, to wrap this up. You want to start with a solid website that's designed to convert traffic. Then from there, you begin to build the funnel via the mediums that are suggested for your city and demographics. And for some, it might be radio, it might be television, might be newspaper, could be internet. It just really depends. And like Newell has spoken about, the markets will really help to dictate that. We want to see people start to replace their yellow page budgets with internet marketing, because the internet marketing is where people are going to search now for products and services. We want to reevaluate every 90 days for changes in consumer behavior. We're going to look at those key phrases and make sure that we're consistently ranking for those that are bringing patients into the practice. And again, rinse and repeat. So having said that, I thank you for your time tonight. And Zach, if you wouldn't mind closing us out.
Thank you, Mike. And that concludes our webinar for tonight. And we want to thank you all for attending the dental marketing webinar. This is the first of 4 webinars that we'll be having, and we'll follow up with the Dental Marketing 201 on March 13th at 6 p.m. We'll definitely send out invites for you all, so you would be able to register and attend that webinar as well, so we can go and continue the marketing more in depth. So that is all that we have for tonight. We received some great feedback and questions from our attendees, and like I said, if we have not addressed your questions through the webinar, we definitely will contact you individually with that information. Please contact us if you do have any further questions at webinar@nlamedia.com, or you can also call us at 1-800-978-6295. So everyone have a very nice evening, and thank you again for attending.